Hello YouTube, iFixItAll here, Team iFixItAll. So I owed you a garden update, but I wanted to show you how my bags over my brassicas have epically failed. This Brussels sprout just said, "Go to hell. I do not like your cover." But there's the little Brussels in between. And my Elmer's glue stitching is not working too well. That's screwed up. So, nice try. I don't know. I just don't like it anyway. I'm going to have to pull all these off. But, anywho, grapes are doing good. This may turn out to be a huge mistake. I got grapes out the yin yang. Let's recap. The grapes that I transplanted to a wild grapevine over here, that failed when I grafted those in. Of course, I haven't checked on it in a few days either, so perhaps I will be wrong. I will leave them in place. Yeah, these did not last, so sure fooled me because it was hanging on good for 2 or 3 good solid weeks. I thought, well, that's interesting. So this did not work. I'm going to try it again, though. This is wild grapevine sprout here, and this is eating grape. All right. Got a transplanted apple tree that's doing good. I got a plum that I transplanted and it went south on me, but it's doing. I don't know what it's doing. I pulled it up, cleaned the roots off, cleaned it with peroxide. Hey guys, how are y'all doing? Come here, Mr. Broken. Come here, come here, come here, amigo. Amigo, come on. This is the ugliest chicken ever. You are so ugly. Oops. That plum tree there, I pulled the whole thing out because it was dying. I transplanted it and it was dying last year. I transplanted it down here hoping it would sprout a leaf or two. And then I extracted it about 3 or 4 weeks ago, cleaned the roots off with peroxide, replanted, and I'm going to see if it sprouts again. And we shall see. I'm just waiting to see if any action happens, but I don't have a lot of hope for it. That's a transplanted cherry bush right here, which is doing really well with this newfound sun. Where it was getting choked off from sunlight. Your garden needs sun, people. Got to have sun. Here's another bush cherry, dwarf. So I got grapes here, and this might end up being a mistake. Got gourds there. I got a little nursery here, hoping for pepper plants to pop up. I got some cabbages that is acting like a nursery until I can move them to their permanent spot. I think that'll have to happen this week. Couple of little baby cauliflowers, volunteer tomato. Then I've got tomatoes along the back side over here. This is bay 6 of our garden. I'm totally, I have like 50 sweet potato plants in here. It's going to be bad. But along the outer side here, the edge, I have green peppers. And I thought, well, this will work out. These guys will get tall enough to get light. I'll just keep the sweet potatoes off of the green peppers. So they're doing fine. Been having a lot of rain, so the weeds have gotten out of control. Some of my, so this is called a bay, like bay 6, but where I have these support wires, there's one hidden underneath, going all the way across, and there's one across the top, so it keeps the walls stabilized. This is called a stall. So this is bay 5. And it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 stalls. That's how we keep this going. Oh, I got some peas growing too. Peas climbing up. They're doing pretty good. Alright, and then over here I got some brassicas going. I got to remove the bags off of them. And I got some maters. That type is, these are cherry. Had a little hole right here. I had to do some restarts. I got some weeding to do. And more cherries. In between, there's these little silver things, but every time you see one of these, there's a short section of marigold that I threw in. And they're not really, they're popping, it's just not seeing many. There's another, I've lost track of what kind of brassicas that is, but that's a guy that just kicked in and took off. This is peanut with some weeds. So here's a peanut plant right here. I'm going to be out here when the sun's down a little bit better, and I'll do all my weeding. This is just getting out of control. I had topsoil brought in that was really good topsoil from a barn, but unfortunately it came with its weeds. So now I'm a regular gardener. Used to not have many weeds. Alright, there's a peanut. And there's another peanut in here somewhere. I'll find it in a little bit. Here's another peanut plant. And that bay has peanut, but oh, yeah, there's a peanut. Here's a peanut. There's a peanut. I don't think this gets enough sunlight over here. It's drowned out. If I look overhead, it's all because of this big oak right here. Yeah. It's just shading things out. Unfortunately, that's going to have to be dropped, but I just don't know if I want to drop it. It does pollute my garden with all kinds of nuts. And it starts little trees in the garden. But the only way to take it down is I'd have to get my climbers on and go up about 3/4 of the way up. And then chain around, come up with a cable, and put a snatch block on that red oak right there. And then bring it down to the end of the driveway, hook it to the back of the Bronco, notch it. I was thinking notching it about waist high, and I don't have enough wedges to control this size of a tree, but if it goes sideways, 30% of that tree hits the house. So it should be fine taking it down. It's just it's got a really natural lean that way. I want to leave a nice stump on it so that I can chainsaw it out into a chair and paint it and maybe have it around as an ornament for a few years until it decomposes. Bay 5, Bay 6, Bay 5, it's Bay 4. Here's my onions. When you grow onions, people, snip off any leaners. In other words, anything that tips over. I go through here and snip them off and throw them on the ground. That's what these cheapy scissors are for. If you've got a green that's flicked over, it'll create a crease in your onion green, and it'll stunt that particular ring in the onion from growing any bigger. These are all doing really good, and lots of baby shoots coming off. That's what you want, a whole bunch of branch, because each branch represents a ring in the oven. Each branch represents a ring in the onion. See, I've got a lot of this popping up, and that's marigold. I got marigold popping up just for pest control. I got tomatoes in here too, and these are getting big enough to where I can train them soon to come up the hoop. But the type of tomato this one is Roma. So this is Roma along the hoop. And I'm looking for an onion that has a problem. So that's bay number 6, 5, 4, 3, bay 3, stall 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Got a lot of weeding to do, I know. I'll get it. These twisty greens are okay, just as long as they're not pinched over. Oh, here we go. Here's one I get to maintenance. Here you go. So here's a green that's bent over. Right there. Just cut it. And you can eat it or turn it into something for your dinner. Mix it into the salad or whatever. This onion is probably, well, it's trying to bolt because it's developing a pod on the top. It's going to go to seed. So I'll save that seed. I won't even pull this onion. It'll be one of my seed donators. And I'm kind of stuck here because I was supposed to have a lot of brassica in here, and I don't think it has worked out. That's right. The brassica that I direct seeded didn't sprout in these entire areas. So I've got a lot of holes here to contend with. But that's okay because I can do some cold crop brassica to recover. Inside of those cans, I have lima beans that I've tried to grow lima beans in here, and I've done this 4 times, and all 4 times I'm like, what happened? It didn't come up. Well, I caught a bird in here snatching it up. So one of the limas actually did sprout and make it, but everywhere there is an upright metal bar, there has been a lima bean across this run through here. There has been a lima bean there 4 different times. And every time those lima beans pop up, a bird comes in and just snips it and eats all the little limbs, eats the leaves, the tender little leaves. So what I'm waiting for is, oh, there's a lima popping, but he's protected by the fortress. It's at like your 10 o'clock. Barely make it out. In just a couple more days, there'll be more limas. So I'm protecting that sprout until the roundy oval leaf starts to get more of a shape to it and less tantalizing to birds. There's some, this was supposed to be a whole bay of spinach, but it looks like I've only got that. I can do some replant on that. I got beets here. Beets and spinach, yeah. Beets and spinach. And actually this spinach went to seed. She hasn't come out and got it yet, which is going to be kind of interesting because I would not mind getting my own spinach seed first time collecting it. That's going to be real nice. Onions along the perimeter here. The beets are looking okay. They'll have to go a while more. This was supposed to be basil. It didn't come up. See, there's a marker right there, a tin can marker. Tin can lid marker for marigolds. No marigolds have popped up back here yet. What I did was I tried to put a little bit of marigold right dead center all the way up this thing. That's marigold. Marigold. These are coming off, guys. I'll get the bags off. Turned out to be a bad idea. I've got pole beans right here. Growing up and over. Those are going to be purple pole beans. But Brittle just grab them whenever she wants. I'm not sure what's happening here. I may have to get some of this trained a little better. They're starting to bunch up. Got a few tasks to perform, apparently. Yeah, there's quite a bit of grooming I gotta do to get these guys on board to climbing. This cabbage just said, "My leaf shall be out." More maters, brassica, carabe, which is along the outer edge here. Carabe. And then that must be a cabbage. And all these are, that's cabbage, and that's a cabbage, and that's a cabbage, and that's a cabbage. And yeah, this is cabbage, 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 and marigold. Alright. Got a lot of weeds in between everything. And we got onions all the way down through here. And along the back again. Those are beefsteak tomatoes. I got them all dressed at the bottoms, removing limbs and then getting them dressed to learn how to climb. So these are beefsteak all the way down through there. And then this is cabbage, 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 cabbage. This is cauliflower. I got to get the bags off. This is, I can't remember, but it's this, gosh, what is this called? Hang tight. I just remembered what it's called. It's called purslane. I've got a lot of purslane in here. So evidently Miss Britz is going to make a good use of this because I've got it everywhere. And it's completely 100% edible. Of course, I got my onions. A whole lot of purslane, but I got to get this weeding done. I've got so many. I've got several bays that are empty. Stalls that are empty. This was supposed to be filled. That was supposed to be filled. So now I'm down to carrots here. They're doing good. Got carrots here. They're doing good. Got a few holes. I reseeded some of the carrot for the bare areas. I've got no parsnip coming up, and I don't know why. That's the second seeding, too. I may have bad seed. That's supposed to be parsnip as well, because there's nothing there. I got some beets right here. Beets popping through with onions. Got a whole lot of asparagus. These are new guy asparagus right here, all the way around the outer perimeter of our asparagus bed. These are like, they've only been in a year and a half, but the middle here is producing asparagus for us quite often. I gotta weed this out so there's no competition, and throw some mulch on top of it. But the middle, we've probably gotten, well, we've got quite a bit of asparagus, but I'm very happy with the production of the asparagus I ordered from a company about 2 years ago, year and a half ago. So I planted these last spring and let them run the gauntlet. Then this is their year 2. And they're doing their asparagus thing, so I had to stake them to keep them off the ground. And sunflower. Supposed to have peas all the way up through here, and the peas didn't pop. Strange that quite a few things just didn't pop for me this year. Not sure why. It's my corn. It's doing pretty good. Got the juice box drink for them. It still smells right here real bad. Volunteer tomato, volunteer sunflower, volunteer sunflower, volunteer turnip, volunteer tomato. It's looking pretty good. Cut me a new beet row right through here for later beets, so I'm waiting for those guys to pop. And I think I see one popped, little guy. There's another. There's another. And then there's some older beet right there that's popped, some which are bigger. This would be a nice area for beets. Got a Hubbard on either side, so I'll show you. It's a Hubbard, 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 and another Hubbard back there. Then there's a Hubbard, 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 and then back there's a Hubbard. Skip a space, and I've got acorn, acorn, because the sign says acorn right there. So it's acorn, 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 acorn. So that's 2 rows of acorn. And right here I've got 2 rows of zucchini. Now what's this other stuff in here? Well, that's volunteer potatoes from last year. So God's gift to me is a volunteer plant. I can't kill it. I want it. So it'll be a surprise, whatever it is. But what I do know is that I could probably harvest those and get my second crop of potatoes in the ground. First, second week of July, I'll set those out. Because these are all of my taters, and these volunteers have been busy sprouting and growing since the temperatures cut loose. So, hey, I planted those real late. Real early, to a point where I would have over 100 and some days to harvest. So I'm going to harvest those probably second week of July. There's zucchini. And this is 1 row of watermelon. And there's 1 row of cantaloupe. I don't expect the cantaloupe to do very well. Maybe that one plant, but it's awfully shaded out by a peach tree. So I got taters in a high mound in hay, taters, taters, taters. Real spotty, hit and miss. I didn't have a lot of taters with a whole bunch of eyes. So I'm just rolling with what I got. Plus we got a lot of taters put up. Short rows. These are like 15 foot long. But they're pretty healthy looking. They've already bloomed, okay? So they're at their stage now where they're just growing taters down there. My round bale of hay up here can be put to use for other things. But that's what I use to build up that area for the taters. So this upper end here is taters and lower end is squash, but since the lower end was potato last year, I'm going to get whatever taters that are volunteers from last year to pop up too. So life is good. It's like potatoes are really interesting. If you make a potato patch, and if you do not harvest all of them, I believe you could have literally a potato patch where you don't have to do anything to it. They always come back every year for years and years and years. Now, if you can't manage the bugs, harvest early for your greens, that is. But when it comes to red potatoes, I can't grow red potatoes like normal people. I get 2 crops in doing this. I'll lay these in last week of February, first week of March, get them buried deep in some hay, let them sprout. I don't care about no frost, and I'll harvest about first, second week of July. But on that day I'm harvesting, the very next day I need to be dropping seed that has already eyed up. So you need to have your seed taters on standby, ready to go in the ground, so that you can get that July to August, then August, September, and September to October, and October to November, and harvest, and you got another 120 days. There's some plums. The plum trees are just now first year learning how to make babies, so we got plums. Got a lot of peaches. Lots of peaches going on. Whole lot of peaches. This tree is definitely going to get pruned. This area down here, through here, used to be a lot of peas and beets, and I've got peas growing up. Several peas popped and crawling up, but the beets just got choked out by weeds. And plus shade. So this was an idea I had, that if I just stand this fence up here, I can have an exterior side that I could grow things. But these fruit trees are now becoming a problem, so I'll have to just adjust. Pear tree. I pruned it last year really well, and I think as a result of that, it may have affected the amount of fruit that's set on this year. But I've still got several. Pear. There's one. There's one. And pear is hard to see anyway. Hard to see. You got to stare for a long time, and all of a sudden you'll start seeing pear. So here's another plum tree. This one here is first year making plums. And I think it's just lost 90% of what it had. But it's there. There's a few plum left. It got so bad, it had so much plum on it, I had to prune this back about a month and a half ago, because the limbs were getting bent all the way to the ground, and the deer were coming along and eating the plums and the plum limbs. Got a plum turning right here. That's going to be so cool. I'm going to give that to Brittany. Yeah, there's still several plum in there. But this is its first year. So that's kind of nice. You can add that to our thing to put up. Strawberries did really good. But I really need to expand this. I need to take 50% of these out and grow them into another strawberry patch and protect it in some way. Figs are doing good. Blueberries are doing really good. This is a more youthful blueberry plant. Here's a more elder blueberry plant. Blueberry bush, I should say. This is probably our oldest blueberry bush. Huge blueberry right there. Right there. Yeah. God, that thing's got to be 3/4 of an inch in diameter. Lots of blueberries this year, which is good. Another blueberry, which is our newest blueberry, which has been in probably 5 years. A lot of these are very old. It's my pride and joy right here, my wine berries. There we go. They will be making fruit, and when they're ripe, they turn tangerine orange looking. And when you eat them, they taste like tangerines. They're not a raspberry. We call them wineberry. Uh-oh. You snuck in there like that? Don't do that again. I've got to get this covered up. Herb bed here. Doing pretty good. Brittany's been harvesting from it. Of course, you get your lilies, which I don't know if y'all know it or not, but if you get your lilies when they first make that green pod, you snip them off and you can treat them like a green bean. 100% edible. Lily buds. Get them when they're young before they ever bust open. Just snap them off at the very end. And they will be, you could do them in stir fry or treat them however you like for a side dish. They're very, very good. Another peach tree. Loaded. Really, really loaded. They're starting to take on a little bit of color. And we're like mid-June right now. These look like they're going to do really well. There's a lot of weight on this peach tree. Whole lot of weight. I should have pruned these last year, but this year's telling me to get on it. Here's some hybrid looking dwarf peach, but it always grows peaches in like grape pods. They're always going to be peaches, but they're going to be tiny peaches, and they're usually not fuzzy. They're smooth skin, like apple smooth skin. But I don't even know what this is, but as far as the name, or I think we got it 20 years ago. It's been here 25 years. But it produces so much. You just got to get on it. This year, I think I'm going to let them go as long as we can as far as ripening. Because it seems like every year we collect them, they're a little too tangy. It looks like this year it's going to be a smooth fruit. Last year they were kind of fuzzy. And what it does is it talks to the nectarine tree all the time. So the nectarine tree and the peach tree, and then this hybrid of some sort of witchcraft is in the mix too. And our nectarine tree, it switches whether it's going to do nectarines one year or if it's going to do peaches. So let's see, what are you going to do this year? Oh, you feel like you might be a straight up nectarine. You have hardly no fuzz. Huh. It feels a little fuzzy, but it's almost smooth. So we might have straight up nectarines this year. Yeah. Interesting. Elvis, are you stalking me? Then I got another thing up here. There's some blackberries that are really special. I have a neighbor that we had a thing called El Nino come through here in like 2012, 2013, and ever since then, these Canadian geese flew in to southern West Virginia, and they roosted at a neighbor's house of mine. And after that, a lot of these strange blackberry bushes started popping up in his field. They were so prolific, he had to just get the tractor and the dozer blade or bucket and scrape the ground, and he was scraping all that briar thicket up into a pile, and he burned it to try to kill them. They came back with a vengeance. But everybody here in the States knows what a regular blackberry vine looks like. But let's just kind of let's do a stare and compare. Let's see. That's not... Oh, I've already done some mining in this area. Hang tight. Let's go look at regular blackberry. Well, you can come with. Oh, here we go. Duh. Okay, so here's your traditional blackberry vine. You got a thorn and a skip a space. And there's a thorn, skip a space, and there's a thorn. You know, I mean, that's a blackberry. That's basically a baby blackberry. You get what I'm talking about? Like a 2-finger gap between each thorn, on average. We could all agree to that. However, this particular blackberry vine, I've got transplants right in here. You can't see them until I reveal them. Here's one right here. You know, look at this. Look how often those thorns are. That's the way it is all the way down the whole thing. It's like there's a thorn, less than a 1/4 inch, and another thorn. Less than a 1/2 inch and another thorn. And it's just as bad all the way down here. You got thorns everywhere. Now I've nicknamed these godberries because it grows a blackberry that's the size of a gumball or smaller, but they're always going to be round. They're not long shade berries. They're round and big. And I was picking gumball size blackberries out of his patch. So I transplanted several of them to here. And I have one right here, one here. I've got one right here. Yep, one right there. Look at this. Thorns. There's another that's up here somewhere. Yep, right there. So I'm hoping that these kick off, and I may go get me some more transplants. I had to remove some regular blackberry vines out of the way to give these less competition. And I also cut down some brush out of here to give it more sunlight to create a blackberry patch back here. And then as far as raspberries are concerned, we have a lot of those growing wild along the perimeter of where I mow grass. So there's my garden update of every going-ons and all the... That's me. I threw some random something in there. I don't know what that is. It'll never grow. I feel bad too, but it needs more sunlight. Getting choked off by the sumac. I could probably cut off a couple of sumac limbs and get that chooching again, though. I may do that. My plum trees were so loaded down, I had to brace them from falling. This one was laying like this about a month ago at like a 45-degree angle. So I've got it braced. I hope that doesn't become a normal problem for me, like fruit trees tipping over because they're too heavy. I'm crossing my fingers for some good corn. I got to load those ditches up with dirt from the backyard, like I explained previously, which is going to be chicken manure and leaves and dirt where it's decomposed for the past 12 months. Fill these trenches in, and maybe I'll throw brassica in between, and then the corn will die off and I'll have 4 rows of brassicas. I've got a whole bunch of babies on standby and some planters back here. Garden doesn't look quite as nice in the beginning of the year every time for some reason, but it usually takes off and it just looks great. But I'm also missing a lot of things too. I have a lot of empty stalls, so I'll try to fill those in. I know in a previous video I mentioned we are focusing heavy on the brassica family, the Brussels sprout, cauliflower, broccoli, and cabbage, and kohlrabi. Kohlrabi. You guys need to look that up. Kohlrabi. It's really good. Hello. Hello there, amigo. Alright guys, you have a great day. Long video. Sorry if it was boring. But that was the tour. I don't think I missed anything. I'm thinking. Yeah, so I did cover 2 major things. Is the bags over your brassica. I got to get a larger option, and I have an idea on that. Something that's bigger, because these things are just busting my homemade things wide open. And then the grafting of the grapes did not work. Wish it did, but it didn't. I shall try again. We'll see ya.